Look, here is the midday news. First, the top stories. 1,400 houses to give way in Abeokuta for the Lagos-Ibadan Rail project. Saraki says 2019 poll politicking still too early for political office holders. BC Akonde calls for the scrapping of Nigeria's presidential system. Health experts dispatched to Ebonyi to stop the spread of Lassa fever. In foreign, doctor says Trump's cognitive ability is normal. EU says it will welcome UK if it backs out of Brexit. Good afternoon. I am Chienye Egwuonwu, bringing you the news in details shortly. Hundreds of homes are to be demolished in Abeokuta metropolis for the right-of-way of the proposed Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail project. Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi says that about 1,400 houses are to be demolished in the Harmony Estate near Okemoson in the city to create the right-of-way for the multi-billion naira rail project. The minister, who made this known during an on-the-spot assessment of the rail project in Abeokuta, told newsmen that his ministry is also in talks with residents of some villages in Iwekoro, near Abeokuta, on the right-of-way for the rail project. Amechi says he will meet with Governor Ibikunle Amosun on the demolition of structures in the state for the proposed rail project. 20 persons died in auto crashes recorded in Ogun State between December 22 last year and January 10 this year. 86 others sustained various forms of injuries in the auto crashes during the period. The accident, according to data from the Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, involves 269 persons, including 174 males and 95 females. Involved in the crashes were 10 private cars, 2 private buses, 15 commercial buses, 11 commercial cars, 9 motorcycles, 3 tricycles, 4 pickups, 7 medium trucks, and 4 heavy trucks. The agency explains that the level of deaths recorded during the period reduced by 13% from the previous year, while those injured in road crashes reduced by 18.23%. Trace blames 46.2% of the road crashes to overspeeding by motorists, 16.5% to dangerous driving, and 10.2% to bad tires. President Bukola Saraki has expressed concern over the growing desperation by political office holders over the 2019 polls. The 2019 polls politicking, according to him, must not distract the attention of political office holders from larger responsibilities of governance. He says that 2018 is the last productive year before the 2019 polls. Saraki, speaking at the resumption of plenary after the Christmas and New Year recess, told the senators that the 2019 poll activities must not override the legislative agenda. According to Saraki, the major ongoing issues on the legislative agenda are the amendment of the 1999 Constitution and the passage of the 2018 Appropriation Bill. He also asked the senators to be mindful of economic crisis facing the country, including the petrol crisis, as well as security issues such as the killings in Benue State and other parts of the country. As senators, Saraki says they must feel the pains of other Nigerians and respond quickly to their cries by providing timely legislative intervention. Former interim national chairman of APC, Chief BC Akonde, has called for the scrapping of the presidential system of government that Nigeria is practicing. He says that the multi-party parliamentary democracy is the best form of government that Nigeria should adopt to move forward. Akonde makes the call at a news conference in his home country, Ila Orogun, to mark his 73rd birthday anniversary. The parliamentary system, according to him, is too complicated and costly for a country that is poor with large illiteracy level like Nigeria. The former APC national chairman also describes the system that Nigeria is practicing as a military democracy of sharing, which, according to him, cannot take Nigeria far. Governor Simon Lalong says that this state, Plateau and Benue State have been victims of unprovoked attacks and killings by herdsmen. According to the governor, a total of 14,000 people, including women and children, were killed in such attacks in the two states over the years. Lalong spoke on the issue during a condolence visit to Governor Samuel Otom and people of Benue State over the killing of more than 70 persons by herdsmen in Guma and local government areas. Plateau, according to the governor, is experiencing such killings in Bassa, just north and just south part of the state. The Plateau governor was represented by the State Land and Town Planning Commissioner, Festus Boas, who led a delegation of elders from the state to pay the condolence visit. Lalong explains that both states need to work together to stop such attacks. Meanwhile, Governor Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State has called for a dialogue to address the challenges facing Fulani herdsmen in the country. Not all the Fulani herdsmen, according to him, are killers as being portrayed in the public. Bagudu, speaking on the issue in Burning Kebbi, says the reported killings by Fulani herdsmen in some parts of the country, particularly in Zamfara, Benue and Nasarawa states, is for economic survival and has no religious undertone. The governor explains that the proposed dialogue will profile ways of assisting the herdsmen to change their lifestyles and pastoral practices to become the agents of economic change. Governor Samuel Otom has asked residents in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, to moderate their comments on the security situation in the city. Security forces have been containing pockets of violent protests in the city since last Saturday over the killing of over 70 people by herdsmen in parts of the state last week. The governor, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Tena Arazi, expresses concern over inflammatory comments by some people, which according to him could worsen the security situation. He directs security forces to arrest anyone caught fomenting trouble in the state. A rapid response health team has been dispatched to Ebonyi State to contain the spread of Lassa fever within Ebonyi State and from the state. The deadly disease had already killed 3 persons, including 2 medical doctors and a nurse at the Federal Teaching Hospital in Abakaliki, the state capital. Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Center for the Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, says the health response team was dispatched after the center was notified of 4 cases of the disease among health workers in the state. 2 doctors and a nurse who were killed by the disease, according to him, are among the 4 cases reported to the center. Ihekwazu also says that the center, in collaboration with the World Health Organization, had provided urgently the required medical supplies and drugs to the state. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sports news. Please do stay with us. In foreign, US President Donald Trump has shown no abnormal signs following a cognitive exam and is in excellent health, according to his White House doctor. Speaking to reporters during a White House briefing, the doctor, Ronnie Jackson, said he had no concerns about his cognitive ability or neurological functions. However, Dr. Jackson added that Mr. Trump could benefit from a lower-fat diet and more exercise. Last week, Mr. Trump, 71, had a 3-hour examination in his first medical checkup since becoming the US president. It comes after the release of a controversial book which fueled speculations about the president's mental health. President Emmanuel Macron says France will not allow a new migrant camp to be set up in Calais. Up to 700 migrants are in the area, despite the camp known as the Jungle having been dismantled in 2016. Macron, on a visit to the port where many gathered, hoping to get to the UK, also defended his immigration plans that have been heavily criticized. On a visit to Britain on Thursday, he is expected to demand that the UK government do more to help. Mr. Macron defended the security forces from accusations of brutality, which was made by some activists, but vowed to punish officers involved in violence against migrants. The Calais jungle became the French symbol of the European migrant crisis, and some 7,000 people, mostly from the Middle East and Africa, were living there before the area was cleared. France received a record of 100,000 asylum claims in year 2017, making it one of the main destinations in Europe. European Union says the UK will be welcome to stay in the EU if it changed its mind about Brexit. The European Council President Donald Tusk said the UK would leave the bloc unless it had a change of heart. Speaking in the European Parliament in Strasbourg, Mr. Tusk said he believed the other 27 EU members would maintain their unity when the talks resumed in March. The comments were welcomed in the UK by MPs who want a referendum on the final Brexit deal, but Environment Secretary Michael Gove said the British public had voted in record numbers to leave the EU. The government has said there will be no second vote ahead of the UK's exit in March 2019, and as it stands, the UK is due to leave the EU come March 2019. Two sides reached a deal on so-called divorce issues, including money and citizens' rights in December, and talks are now moving on to transitional arrangements and future cooperation. Next is the business news. Nigerian Stock Exchange recorded a feat on Tuesday, with the all-share index crossing over 44,000 marks for the first time. The index rose to 44,054.72 from the initial 43,119, which was achieved on Monday, representing an increase of 935.72 points, or 2.17%. Similarly, the market capitalization increased by 335 billion naira, or 2.17%, to close at 15.782 trillion naira against 15.447 trillion naira, which was posted on Monday. However, the volume of shares traded closed lower with a turnover of 635.40 million shares, valued at 7.64 billion naira in 7,331 deals. This was against the turnover of 730.62 million shares, worth 6.30 billion naira, transacted in 7,964 deals on Monday. Finally, sports news. Super Eagles and Giants of Belgium winger Moses Simon has been ruled out of actions for 6 weeks. The player sustained a ligament damage while in action for his club against German Bundesliga 2 side FC Nuremberg last week. The player will miss 6 games, which includes the games against Lokeren, Antwerp, Club Brugge, AS Eupen, St. Truiden, and Mechelen. Moses played a pivotal role for Nigeria's Super Eagles in getting the Russia 2018 World Cup qualification ticket. That was the midday news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. 1,400 houses to give way in Abeokuta for the Lagos-Ibadan Rail project. Saraki said 2019 poll politicking still too early for political office holders. BC Akonde called for the scrapping of Nigeria's presidential system. And health experts dispatched to Ebonyi to stop the spread of Lassa fever. We also told you in foreign that doctors said Trump's cognitive ability was normal. And EU said it will welcome UK if it backs out of Brexit. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Chienye. Good afternoon.